Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Younger Me podcast. It made me understand and realize that I meant more than your watch.
Well, it's not so much I'm done, but what a lot of people don't realize is, because you said like love is a choice, right?
Yeah.
And it's a choice, and you have to choose yes or no, and then stick by that.
Yeah.
The problem with choosing yes is there's work behind the yes.
Because you may see something in them that you want to pull out of them, and you think that I could do it, I could change him. You know, I think I'm special enough that he will change for me. No.
What do I mean by that? I'm thinking about it, and I already tell myself I'm gonna call this person, I'm gonna call that person, I'm gonna call this person, because we don't really get the time to really sit and connect and say thank you, to say I appreciate you for doing this, I appreciate you for doing that, because the business of life. Yeah.
But it's just the passion that I have for people,
Yeah.
that drives me, and the love that I have, and want to share, and really want people to give back. You know, I said yes, it's giving back because that's where I'm coming from, but I'm giving forward.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Younger Me podcast. I am your host, Roseanne Williams, and I have with me today my husband, my friend, my partner, Dwight. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone.
I wanted to talk today a little bit about our relationship. And when I talk about our relationship, I also want to talk about our personal experience that is around growing our family. Me becoming a mom, you becoming a dad, and our experience even with our son and how he came here. So we're going to dive in a little bit. For many years, so like I've said in previous podcasts, conversation, known Dwight for many years, and we decided and we believe that God has put us together. So he asked me to marry him, and I said yes, and we got married. So first part of the marriage, we didn't really want to think about kids.
No, because we're in college though.
College,
So
and
that's
we
the
kind of
focus.
was still running track. Yeah, because
College was definitely a focus.
and the
Always
desire
accepted.
probably going pro, doing some kind of
But
higher level track and
for me,
field.
that desire got thrown through the window a long time ago. But the focus more on getting married, getting our education, and start from there.
Yeah. When we got married, I was in school, so we didn't really live together. We lived together, but we didn't live together because I was still in college at the time. So still working through that. But there was no desire for children. Actually, sometimes what you say can come back around to bite you, so you got to be careful of what you say. There was a time when I was like, I don't want to have kids. I'm just going to take care of my parents and be married to Dwight. Or I was going to take care of my parents and run track and wanted to be like Merlin Ati. So there were so many things that I would just speak out there and put in the atmosphere, not knowing what was ahead. And during those years, we had some really good times. I think it was after my brother died. Lost my first brother. My older brother, one of my older brother. And I think that's when the light bulb went off that we wanted to start our family.
That was before that.
Was it before that?
Yeah,
I feel like something happened with my brother
because your
Passing.
brother was what 2011.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2011. We got married in 2006.
Right, but it's not like we wanted to have kids as soon as we got married. You
No.
know, like they say you're married
Yeah,
for
but-
2 years and then you start having kids.
Yeah, but when you mention your brother, you're talking about that's 2011. We got married in 2006, and 2008. That's when we decided because you finished with school at that point.
Oh, I guess he knows more than
Yeah,
me.
and we decided, okay, I think it's time for us to start.
Yeah, and got pregnant, and I had to travel for work. Went to New Orleans for a conference of work, and came home that evening. And-
Let's backtrack.
I'm going too fast.
Yeah, you're going way too fast because you said we got pregnant. Nah, it didn't just happen.
Well, it didn't just happen. Okay,
So-
yeah.
I think a little bit of the backstory leading up to to your pregnancy of Jeremiah's birth. I think that
Pregnancies.
I think that's like really, really the meat of
Well, I was going to talk about the first miscarriage
okay.
in Brooklyn.
That's fair enough. That's fair
Yeah, I
enough.
was going to talk about when we were pregnant and we went to New Orleans. I went to New Orleans for a conference.
Okay.
And came back. I was in the bathroom. I was like, I got to use the bathroom. And there it was. It was just happening. And
I didn't like the fact that you were going to New Orleans at that time when you
yeah,
were
he
pregnant.
didn't want me to travel. He
didn't
was
want you to
like, it's critical. Why are you going? I'm like, I'm going for work. Plus, I was getting to go to New Orleans. I've never been there before, and I wanted to experience it. I was like, why not? It's company. It's work. So I didn't want to not go. I wanted to go. But I would say that you saw what I didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
And was a rough time because we had made up in our mind consciously that we wanted to start our family, and had a miscarriage, and took some time to bounce back there. But I remember at that time I started going to the trap because that was my outlet to kind of just go run.
Yeah.
And the song that came on was "You're a Good Father, and I'm loved by you." And I never forgot when I heard that song. It was the song that kind of pulled me out of that place. I'm not going to say I was depressed because I was still doing what I needed to do and wanted to do, but I was lethargic in doing it. I was kind of like nonchalant. I was, okay, it is what it is. Going through the motion sometimes, yeah. But when I heard that song, I remember I came home that morning after, because I would go running like 6 a.m, 40 degrees. I was out there because it was a place I just needed to be, and I was able to talk to God out there. And I was like, why me? Why me? Why me? And when I heard that song, "You're a Good Father," it just reminded me of God's goodness and how he has kept us, but has kept me through the years to this point. And this too shall pass. Didn't think it was, but the light bulb went off. And I needed that. Because sometimes, you hear this song and you're like, I needed that. God, you were thinking about me. And I know that he was thinking about me during that time, in that period. And then, life happened. We lost one of our brother. And so there was no focus on kids again. And I think we just kind of started enjoying each other. One of our pastor friends at the time, she taught us how to love each other again. Because I wasn't feeling loving. I wasn't loving, and I don't think...
You were lovable? Nah, I wouldn't say you weren't feeling loving, because obviously you mean you're going through a grief.
I wasn't mean,
You're going through a grief of losing
but I didn't want to
your
be
brother.
touched
Like,
or talked to her.
that's
Like,
fine.
you don't understand.
You were grieving your brother, like.
Yeah, I was
understand.
grieving, wanting this
You know?
pregnancy and then losing our brother. So that was like, come out of that, and then that happened, and I'm like, okay, God, yeah. And that was a pivoting moment for me too, because young people die, but when death come to home, it puts your life in perspective. And I was like, let's get pregnant again. So what happened was, my dear friend, and she's my boss. She
Whoa.
Okay, I'm going too fast.
We going way too
Well, you gotta
fast.
interject. You gotta come in there. You gotta be like,
Yeah,
Rose.
yeah.
take it back.
That's why I'm gonna interject, because 2011, your brother passed away in 2011.
Right.
In June.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And
First.
in October of 2011, my grandmother passed away.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh,
And
it
then-
was too much. And then your cousin.
Then my cousin passed away.
Yeah.
Then August 2012, my dad passed away.
It was a roller coaster.
So it
there was not
like,
much loving
what's
going on.
going on?
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those moments. And I think we spoke about my dad passing in 2012 in one of our podcasts when we were talking about our parents.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
we did.
later already spoke about that. But you talk about the first time you lost the baby, right? But in retrospect, there's more than one. Is that was just not the only time? But we're not gonna go into like details.
It was but it was so many loss.
instances.
I think it was so many loss that I got used to. I think I told myself in my head, I'm not gonna get pregnant. It ain't gonna happen. But I was praying, I was hoping, because we went through so many loss that it was kind of like, what's next?
Yeah.
Waiting for the next shoe to drop, and the next shoe, and the next shoe, and I'm like, trauma after trauma after trauma. And when this is not your first home, you know, and you finish school and you get married, you think things are gonna be a certain way, and you know, my parents are not in America. So that support system, you know what that's like. It's not like somebody who has their parents here and family members here. Yeah, family members are here, but it's something about having a mom and dad, if they're present and active in your life. They were not in the United States of America. They were in Jamaica at the time. So it was phone calls, it was support, and not wanting to put things on them, because just losing your son, having to bury a kid, you know, a young man at that time too, was a lot for my parents and our family. So it was just trauma and trauma and trauma. And then it was after your dad passed, and after we overcame that, then we were like, okay, let's focus on ourselves. And I always, you know, Pastor Lorna Dunbar, she was an influencer. She was such an impact in our lives, in our marriage, because she would keep me on course. You know, she taught me to write little love notes to you. Remember that? And send you some little sweet texts. And I was like, ah! And I was doing it. I was like, I don't want to do it, but I'm like, you know what? Let me do it because I love him. But I'm like, ah. And that kind of, it ignited back what God has always placed in our hearts. Because after you go through so much, what do you stand on? And I had to stand on Jesus Christ. I remember getting pregnant and losing the child, getting pregnant and losing a child, losing the pregnancy because it wasn't a child. Sorry. During those times, I experienced all kinds of feelings, and I came to the resolution that we're not going to get pregnant. I remember being partnered with one of my IPT, because I joined the prayer community, the IPT at my church, intercessory prayer team. And we were part of the Sanctuary Choir at our church as well. And so we had really close friends, good family friends that, you know, we shared with them what our heart's desire was to grow our family. I remember you sharing it with those persons who were influencers and mentors in your life. And we asked them to pray because, to be honest, there were times when I just didn't feel like praying. I don't know about you. Were you praying?
Well, that's a whole another story. Because I wasn't that guy, I would say, yet. Because I didn't get baptized until when 20.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were unequally yoked, y'all.
Yeah. So when did I got baptized?
He wasn't always saved.
2009.
Yeah.
2009. So I was a newbie.
September.
Yeah, September
6th.
4th.
4th. Okay.
September
Yeah.
4th. I remember that day keenly because
Me too.
more than one
Well-
person I know that celebrate that day for special reasons. So
Yeah, birthdays and all that too. Yeah.
so I wasn't the the prayer guy. Not really saying I wasn't the prayer guy, but like, how to pray. Effectively, I'm gonna say, or more, more deeply, if that makes sense. So I didn't know how to really do it. And I think what happened was after I got baptized, and then throughout the years after we joined different ministries, serving in the church,
Yeah.
that's when a prayer life started to develop. But I think what did it for me is I was driving one day, and if I remember exactly, I think it was a Hezekiah Walker song that I was listening to.
I think it was Praise Is What I Do. That's a Hezekiah?
No,
Oh.
It was a Hezekiah Walker song
I remember you did tell me you have an encounter.
that I was listening to, and that's when I had an encounter. And within my encounter, my prayer at that time was, teach me how to pray. Teach me how to pray. And that's when I think my light bulb went off as far as praying, not how to pray, different types of prayer. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so funny you said that, because after those experiences, we started praying together. We grew as husband and wife we've always been a husband and wife, but we grew spiritually together. We learned to draw closer to God, because we came to the resolution, the realization that for us to get pregnant and for it to stick, it ain't gonna be us. It's through the Holy Spirit. And though sometimes I have to admit I was frustrated, I didn't feel like I wanted to pray. But if I didn't feel like it, Dwight would encourage me and I'm always pushing for prayer, but we needed prayer to even draw closer to God, because of course I wanted to get a better understanding of my purpose. Why am I here? What does God want from me and for me, and how will my life give him the glory? And in learning that through the years, one of the things that God shared, because sometimes when you want to get pregnant and you see families around you getting pregnant and friends getting pregnant, and you see you're getting older, and for me, I was like, man, it ain't gonna happen. And I feel like I was in a certain caste system. I remember one time I was at a seminar, and they were preaching about I can't remember her name.
I don't remember which seminar it is. I can't help you on that one.
Oh gosh, I had her name on the tip of my tongue, but she was talking about, being barren and being infertile, and I was like, I felt like that was me. I felt like I can't get pregnant and keep the kid and carry the kid. So there was some anger there. One of the things that I tried to and purposely ask the Lord not to put me in a place of depression, because it's real. I've seen it, and it can be, I was already sad. There were times when I was angry, but I didn't want to go into depression. And it's a friend that said, Roseanne, you're not the only person that's struggling with this. Women often struggle with the desire to have a family by growing it, having kids, and it doesn't happen easily. And maybe, God doesn't have a plan for you to have a child. But she said to me, if God has placed that in your heart, the desire to bear fruit and to have children, to have children, then he will grant the desires of your heart. I just felt like his timing was too slow. He was taking too long. But little did I know what was ahead. I remember talking to my friends about this desire, and I was like, I need you guys to pray. I remember, again, going back to the IPT, the intercessory prayer team, and I was partnered with one of the senior members at our church, and she asked me what did I want to pray about, and I told her, and I had to trust and be comfortable to tell her, because am I a stigmatism? Am I a stigmatism? Am I a standout? I wanted to be able to tell her what was going on with me and where I need her to touch and agree with me. And I never forgot. She would encourage me. She would pray with me. And we would pray on a Sunday for as prayer partners. And even we intercede for other people. She would always intercede for me. Never forgot the light bulb went off, though, when it was 2017 when we got pregnant.
2017.
Did I miss anything before?
Well, I was speaking back when you miss anything.
Yeah, because
I think the key part leading up to your pregnancy is we talking about our prayer life, or we develop a unique and consistent prayer life where every single night we never missed a night of prayer. Even though we're praying to have a child, it doesn't matter if it's 2, 1, 3, just give us at least one. But our prayer turns not for what we want, but we switch our prayer and interceding for others, and not just for us. And I think that created a shift in our journey leading up to your pregnancy. And I think that's one of the most important part about the relationship at that point. That we have to understand that for us to get our heart desire, because the Bible talks about seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else,
His righteousness,
everything else will be added. And I think that light bulb kind of true. Like, okay, that scripture said that. Then guess what? We're gonna seek Him, but in seeking Him, we're interceding for others as well who can't even intercede for themselves, or don't even know how to intercede.
Yeah, because we have stopped praying.
So we have stopped really praying to, like, God, we need a baby. We stop asking God for that.
Even though in the back of my head, I was like, I don't fit in. Probably everybody's talking about me, that, she married to Dwight this long and she can't have a kid. And, we know how people do. And it's so crazy. I just have to kind of say this. We're living in a time where women, young people, they don't care anymore.
Some young people.
Yeah. But even if they're married and but for me, it was something that I carried until we had to pray and seek God's face and turn from my ways and trust His plan. Still had the desire, but like Dwight said, there was a shift in how we prayed. There's a shift in how I prayed. Fasting and prayer was also so important then, as it is now. But I relied so much on fasting and prayer because I didn't know what else to do. And I that was one of the desires of my heart. I remember before we got pregnant with our son in 2017, we had just had a miscarriage again. And I was like, this ain't gonna happen. And it was a tough time because I thought this was it. Just to go back, my friend, my boss, one day she was talking to me and she said, Roseanne, are you and Dwight planning to have kids? And I was sharing with her my story, and I went into details, and she's like, okay, we're going to go see the best doctors. I knew that was God. That wasn't anyone or anything else but the Holy Spirit. Because which boss is going to come to you and say, yeah, you have health insurance, but you're going to go see the best doctors? the specialist. Just find out what's going on. And we did. And we're forever grateful because we were able to pinpoint. Of course, I needed to lose weight. I had to get healthier, even though I thought I was healthy because I ran track. But sometimes your body may not be in the place that it needs to be. And I remember this doctor saying to me, you need to exercise, because I had gotten into the place where I was not exercising as much, get comfortable, ran for so many years. You feel like you're tired. I don't want to go outside and run anymore. I don't want to do anything. She's like, you need to do, I think she said 10,000 steps.
At least 10,000
At least 10,000 steps. And I was like, Doc, really? But it became such a lifestyle that I even started losing weight, and I started feeling good about myself, and the good endorphins are running, and all of the good came back even more. And our relationship got better. That everything just get better, good. And we got pregnant. Oh yeah, and she said I had to change the way I eat. A lot of the things that we eat, the elements, the food, and it does impact our reproductive system. It does impact our body, and it does impact our health even as we get older. That's another conversation. But I remember we got pregnant, and I was like, yeah. I think this was in July. I think it was in July or June or July we got pregnant, but that pregnancy I didn't carry that pregnancy. And so had a miscarriage. And then
Try again.
Hey, we tried again. And got pregnant. And then when we did the sonogram, we were pregnant with twins.
Ooh.
I don't know if everybody knew that, but it's out there. I was excited. I wanted twins, but I felt like double for my trouble. And I was like, yes, God. And one heartbeat was pronounced. The other one wasn't so pronounced. So my doctor was like, and I was seeing one of the very best doctors, and she was like, let's just watch and see. And
that's at the 8-week marks, right? At the 8-week marks when we checked.
Yeah. And she was like, let's watch and see. Because she didn't like how one of the heartbeat was. But I was like, I was praying. I didn't share that part with anybody. I was just praying. Let it be. But by the week 12?
Yeah, because it said if the heartbeat doesn't pick up by week 12, then she said what's going to happen, that fetus is going to dissolve. And then I think also what happened is she was saying, I think after the 8 weeks, so we go back and we check. I don't remember what month we checked in, but apparently the other fetus was pulling from the other one.
So the fetus that lived?
So this fetus that lived was drawing from the other one. She said, okay, the other one is going to dissolve eventually.
Yeah. So I wasn't supposed to have twins.
The other one is not going to develop.
But I was disappointed because I felt like I wanted to be one and done with two. Why not? But when God have a plan and a purpose for your life, it's ordered by Him. And so we're pregnant. Here comes September. Here comes October, and we're like, we're not telling.
How long did it took us
to get pregnant? What, 8 years?
8 years.
8 years.
We're trying for 8 years.
And I know there's a meaning behind the number 8. I just can't remember now. They say number 7 is God's number, but I think 8 is new beginning or something like that. Don't quote me, but I don't remember. But yeah, it took us 8 years from we got married to get pregnant.
8 years since we tried. No?
We started trying.
Not get married,
Yeah. Okay. Since we really consciously said
we're gonna try.
Okay. And let me tell you, sometimes you think this thing about getting pregnant can be easy. It ain't getting it. I think it's getting harder sometimes too because of what they're putting in your food and all the elements that are out there. So many factors. Your health, your weight. And you know, it's so funny, right? And I'm going to digress a little bit, but talk about infertility. A lot of times people think that it's only because of the woman. No. Men too. And I was watching this show, and they were talking about a lot of men are
Fertile.
infertile. Don't know why, but they were saying that they've seen an uptick with that. But I'm no expert. I'm just saying what they were saying in a country that I was watching a show, a survey that a doctor was talking about that they did. Anyway, let's get back on track. So it was what, October, November. We shared it with our family as the months progressed. And I was obedient because my church sister, Sister Pauline, she called me and she said, do not share this pregnancy with... No, she told me before I got pregnant, actually. Sorry.
Yeah.
She called me one day before we got pregnant, and she said, Roseanne, when the Lord is ready, do not share your pregnancy with anyone unless the Holy Spirit told you to. And I was like, okay. But, you know, in the back of my head, I'm like, it ain't going to happen anyway, but okay. And I never forgot, we told the parents first, and we only shared it with our pastor and our first lady, and we were kind of like going down, you know, but we were scared to share it because we didn't want a disappointment. We didn't want to miscarry. We didn't want to lose another one and tell all these people, and then you have to give the long explanation as to why not or why, you know. So we kept it a secret until we actually started showing.
Yeah, but like what, 5 months?
Yeah.
It
We
took
kept it a while.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to be honest. A part of me sometimes then I would say I regret telling people versus them finding out when they did, even though they would have found out. Because December 25th, it's Christmas Day, and we found out we were having a son. I wanted a girl.
We'll find out. I know we were having a boy. I just didn't.
You
say
didn't
anything.
know. We had a reveal. My niece did it at
Let me
whole.
tell you.
You know, my niece Tamika, she
Look.
did the whole.
Let me tell you how I know it was a boy. When you were doing, what do you call it?
The ultrasound?
The ultrasound. The nurse told me there's a letter that's on the, what do you call it? When they took the picture.
The screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
The letter M. She said, this letter M. She put the letter M to signify and let me know.
So you cheated
it's
and
a
look.
boy. Right?
So you cheated and you look.
No, she asked me if I want to know. I'm like, yeah, I want to know.
See, I was the only one that didn't know.
You didn't know. And I already told
Tamika,
that, you know, what it's going to be.
So all the time when I'm pumped up getting girls' names and like, and I made, so this is me. I'm like, if it's a girl, I'll name the girl. If it's a boy, you'll name the boy. Because I was right and strong that it was going to be a girl.
It was a boy.
I had to keep my word, by the way, with him naming the kid. But I was like, December 25th came, and, you know, found out we were having a son. And you know what? I was grateful because so many people reminded me of the word of God and encouraged me and told me it's a blessing. And I'm grateful for the blessing. But, you know, I wanted a girl at the time. But now I can tell you, I know why God gave us a son. But 25th came, we had our family get together, celebrated Christmas, and then we had a doctor's appointment on the 28th. And we almost missed that appointment because I was like, I don't want to go in the city to the doctor's appointment. Can we just move it to another day? And I was like, okay, let's go. You know, at this point, I'm like, why do I have to go?
Why didn't you want to go?
I didn't want to go because, we wanted to kind of spend time together and celebrate each other and enjoy the season that we were in. And
What season was that?
if you know, why don't you say it? Maybe I don't want to say it.
I guess by now a lot of people might realize that
I don't want to say it.
there's a lot of things that you don't remember.
No, I remember. I didn't want to. I don't want to say what it is.
It was our anniversary.
Ah,
Come on.
it was our wedding anniversary.
Yeah, so wedding
And I was
anniversary, we
like,
plan to go to the city, have dinner. But apparently we're going to have dinner at the doctor's office.
No, we were gonna stay
I'm just
in the hospital.
No, I'm just joking when I said that because you have to go.
So we went to our appointment, man.
So it's an in and out appointment. We're assuming, okay, you're going to check and then we're going to leave.
Yeah, and I remember my OBGYN, she said, and she's one of those high-end specialists, she said, do not miss any of your appointments. And that just ring in my head. And I was like, okay, let's go and then we'll just do something in the city, yada, yada, yada. Went in for the ultrasound and, oh my God. Mind you, went in for the ultrasound and, she was all nice at talking. She was talking. Can't remember what their job title is, but the person that does the sonogram. Because the doctor doesn't do the sonogram. They do the sonogram and then you go and see the doctor. This is how it is at Cornell. Don't know if it changed now, but that's how it was. And by the way, I'm just going to put a plug in there. I'm telling you. Weill Cornell, the baddest
Where we're concerned.
maternity hospital that I've experienced.
Yeah. That we
Baddest
experienced.
isn't good.
That we experienced. Yeah.
I am so grateful that I was there. And I give God thanks for his provision to make it possible to be there. I'll ever be grateful. And I'm always an advocate for them. Because I know the care, and they've upped their medical facility.
Let's talk about.
He's trying to tell me I'm getting off course. But
let's
I
talk
just got to put a
about
plug in there.
going to the visit. You did the ultrasound. Then they said, okay, you gotta wait to see the doctor. Right, and you spoke to the doctor. And then they left the room again. I'm like, what's going on?
She got quiet.
She got quiet.
And then she was like, did you feel water running down your leg? I was like, what?
Yeah.
But you know what? What do you have to say about that?
About what? Water running down your leg?
Yeah, what were your thoughts? What were you thinking when she got quiet? And why did she leave the room? Because she's doing things outside of the norm.
Yeah, it was a little bit
because we've been going there the whole time.
Yeah,
and
it was nerve-wracking. And is the fact that
the room is dark, y'all.
They move you from one room, and when they brought you to another room, right? And the room that they brought you in is one of those delivery rooms. I'm like, what? Why are we in this room again? Like, isn't it
triage.
way too early?
Triage.
Yeah, isn't it like way too early?
Way too early
to be in this room.
And we're gonna put a plug on that. So guess what? You want to hear part 2 of this? Tune in for the next part, because there's more to tell. Becoming a mother, our fertility journey, God's provision, overcoming, everything. Can't wait to share more. Thank you for watching the Younger Me podcast. Any last minute words, babe?
Nah, I put a plug in it.
We're so grateful that you've allowed us to come into wherever you find yourself listening to us this evening. We're grateful because we just want to share our journey. And maybe it will speak to you, it would be an impact to you. Like, subscribe, share this video, and I could tell you part 2 will be even better. And always remember to put God first. God bless you. Thanks again for watching To the Younger Me podcast.